Welcome back for my final morning report analysis video on Monday 25th of June with me, Japan market analyst at Hantec Markets, looking at gold for the final chart today. And we've seen an interesting response actually. Early morning we saw gold under pressure. The dollar had been stronger and gold was being dragged lower, but gold sort of turned around a touch since then. It had opened higher. Opened around about 1271, 1272, so a couple of bucks higher from where we are at the moment. But then got sold into as the dollar strengthened. But there is a safe haven vibe going on in this market at the moment, and it's interesting that the market, the gold price has been bought into, and if it closes around this level again, that would be a long lower shadow, which would suggest an attempt to the downside, having subsequently been bought into. So yeah, this could be a potential for a recovery play still. I'm not entirely convinced that this would be a recovery that would be sustainable. I think that there is a vast amount of overhead supply, and the medium-term outlook remains negative on gold, having completed this top pattern that implies a complete retracement to 1236. And you've got the resistance that starts around the 1282 mark up towards 1284. And then up towards the 1300 area. But for now, even if there was a little sort of rebound, I don't think it would go that far. Momentum indicators sort of tempted to turn around a bit. The RSI hovering around the 30 mark. That's interesting that the RSI started to sort of stall in its track lower. You've also got stochastics, which are again threatening to rise. So there is the prospect of a near-term technical rally, but how far it goes before you see the selling pressure coming back in would be the question. Here we see the hourly chart whereby you've got the moves into old support becomes new resistance. Again, old support becomes new resistance. So that seems to still be a bit of a trend going on there, and it sort of needs to break above that 1284 mark to really suggest some sort of legs or traction in the recovery. But again, then you've got all this overhead supply around 1300 area, so it's going to be a difficult run for the gold bulls, I think, at the moment, if they were to be gaining any sort of control. So I wish you good luck in trading, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow.